Hello everyone and welcome to this video of the Tarot Journey. Together we are going to see today the Suite of Cups. So the cups are, a suite of the minor arcanas of the traditional 78 cards tarot game. And here we go. So the Suite of Cup is mainly, linked to emotional aspects, okay? So this is a suite that is gonna tell the story of, the births of those new feelings, new love of, every type. It can be like friendship, it can be personal, it can be in the family. So it's really a suite that is closely linked to everything that is doesn't talk about the emotional part of the psyche. It's a suit that is associated with the element of water. So by definition, we also associated with the astrological sign of, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So the suite, begins as usual with the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is like those new emotions that you have when you meet someone. It can be a new relationship. It can be a new venture that you feel good about it. It can be a new person that, you see a potential friendship with them. So it's really the moment when you feel those first emotion, those first butterflies. It represents all sorts of emotional possibilities, and it's up to the consultant to decide if he or she is going to jump into this new emotional adventure or not. Which leads us to the Two of Cups. So this represents the beginning of a new relationship, or at least the possibility of a new relationship. So that means that the consultant has a choice to pursue either one or multiple possibilities relationship-wise. Those are possibilities that the consultant first saw during the Ace of Cups, phase. So again, it can be any type of relationships, okay? We're not only talking about, love relationship. It can be like a work relationship, friendship, family, anything that basically involves having a relationship with someone, on the love side or not. But it's a new relationship. So it's kind of like an opportunity between two people that can either develop in something more serious or not. Which leads us to the Three of Cups. So Three of Cups is basically celebration. So it's a really happy social situation. So the consultant is really surrounded by, great people with who he or she is comfortable with, and people that basically make him or she happy. So the relationship that started with the Two of Cups is really leading the consultant to want to pursue and explore different social circles. Either because he or she wants to introduce this new partner to, his close friends and family, or because he or she wants to keep exploring their options, okay? It's really a social abundance, and this social abundance can lead the consultant to want to try different avenues before really settling down. Which leads us to the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is basically the consequences of the Three of Cups, okay? When you come to saturate your emotions with kind of like too much stimulations and experience, sometimes you come faced with too many options. And, that creates a situation where the consultant doesn't really see what's in front of him or her anymore. So it's kind of like an emotional confusion, where when you have too many options, you kind of like become confused and you go back inside yourself, and you're surrounded by so many possibilities that you're like, okay, like what am I choosing now? You kind of like have the consultant with this card has a big difficulty to really see what's in front of him or her, and is just like, in himself, inside of his head, and not really sure in what direction to go anymore. Which leads us to the Five of Cups. So this is really emotional deception. The consultant is faced with a lot of obstacles in his sentimental life and feels a bit lost. Okay, it's because the consultant might have not been able to distinguish in time what was good or bad, and what could have bring him or her the emotional satisfaction. It's basically the logical the logical consequence of the Four of Cups. I mean, if you're gonna stay inside yourself too long and too often, if you're gonna ignore whatever's in front of you, then of course you are gonna go into emotional deceptions, either because you refuse to see the red flags or because you are not able to settle down with only one option. Okay? Maybe the consultant could not come to a satisfying conclusion by lack of confidence, or because they couldn't establish strong boundaries or strong limits on what they wanted or not, but they are faced with an emotional deception of some kind, which leads to the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is really this comeback to source. After all the obstacles and the deceptions of the Five of Cups, the consultant is really called to come back to the simple basics, okay? The little pleasures in life. This card is really often represented with a child because it's all about going back to that childlike mentality. When you're a child, you just appreciate the simple things in life and you're really happy with nothing. So it's really about going back to the basics and to what really makes you happy. Okay, it's often with simplicity that we find the little joys in lives, and this is what this card is about, to come back to your child mentality when you're just full of wonders for the world around you. This can also symbolizes the desire to eventually have kids in your relationships, or to at least be surrounded by them. Which leads us to the Seven of Cups. So Seven of Cups represent choices, but multiple choices, okay? It's a time where the consultant is going to be faced with a lot of possibilities, and he or she needs to select those that are going to bring him happiness on the longer term, okay? And the consultant is then called to really go back to the lessons of the Six of Cups. What really makes him or she happy? Because not all those options are good. Some options are really good, but some options are there to tempt you, to see if you really learned the lesson or not. Which leads us to the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is really about letting go. Okay, the consultant is really called to let go all of the bad past experiences, all the deceptions of the past relationship, to really be able to focus on the future. Okay, it's really impossible to truly progress if you keep attaching yourself to the past and whatever hurted you before. Okay, after having been faced by the choices of the Seven of Cups, if the consultant really want to be able to grow and move forward towards new and better experiences, it is up to the consultant to cut the ties with the negative emotional attachments of the past, because it's only by leaving the failures behind that you really can give a chance to the future. Which leads us to the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups represents dreams and goals, and finally reaching those dreams and goals. Okay, the consultant is finding himself or herself really close to success, but it is up to the consultant to make the difference between the reality and wishes. Okay, because it's often in our desire to want to achieve success in a specific goal, it might be difficult to distinguish what is really in front of us versus what we want things to be. Is it a really perfect situation for you? Or it's kind of like an extension of unachieved dreams. The consultant is really brought to ask himself or herself if the current situation is really gonna bring him or her an emotional satisfaction on the long term, or is it simply stories that they're creating in their head to kind of like want to reach their goals. It's the perfect example of being with someone because you see the potential that they could be versus seeing what they are giving you right now. Okay, which finally leads us to the 10 of Cups. So the 10 of Cups is really the achievement, like the top achievement, the ultimate emotional satisfaction. Okay, the situation is stable, and the situation is also providing a consultant with an opportunity to establish himself or herself on the long term with someone. Okay, the consultant managed to create a situation where they are now in a relationship that is elevating them on a spiritual, emotional, and personal way. Okay, it's really like the accomplishment of the perfect and ideal relationship. Okay, all deceptions of the past are gone, and it's now time to face a better and happy future. So this is it for the 10 minor arcanas that are in the Suit of Cups, and now we are going to go to the figures. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups. So this card represents an energy and an individual that is curious and adventurous. Okay, it's someone that is really open to all those new feelings and those new possibilities that are being offered. Okay, it's like someone that is really open to try and date again, try and meet new people, and really go where their heart is guiding them. Okay, it's an energy or someone that is ready to follow their intuition and to discover new people and new places that they would never have thought about, which leads us to the Knight of Cups. So this represents an energy or an individual that is really charming and seductive. Okay, it's someone that lets their heart guide them, and they're really listening to their emotions. Okay, the thing with the Knight of Cups is, yes, they're listening to their heart, but it's not always logical. Okay, this is a really charming being that is not afraid to pursue different opportunities. So yes, it's a really nice person, but it's not someone that is stable yet. Okay, it's someone that is not necessarily going to be ready to commit and settle down, because now he's really in the phase of following his heart and discovering wherever those new adventures are going to lead him. Okay, so they're still exploring opportunities and are not yet ready to settle down, which leads us to the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is a person or an energy that is really generous and basically really lovely and nurturing. Okay, it's someone that has really had their heart on their hands, and they always want to help people. They're always going to be there for everyone. Okay, it's someone that is sensible, in touch with their emotion, and is also an empath. So they often make the desires and well-being of others pass before their own. So the priority of the Queen of Cups is to make sure that each person that is around her, each person that she loves, are receiving the love and care they deserve. So we can always count on the Queen of Cups to be there and to help you when you need it. So it's someone that is really stable, nurturing, and that you feel safe around. Which finally leads us to the King of Cups. So the King of Cups represents an individual or an energy that is totally in harmony with their emotions. Okay, it's someone that is stable and knows what he wants on an emotional level. Okay, it's really a partner that you can trust, because once they commit, they know what they want. So they know where to commit and where not to commit, because on the opposite of the Knight, that is like just going wherever his heart tells him to go, the King is emotionally mature to take into consideration his own well-being, but also the one of others. So he's never gonna lie about his emotion or try to lead you on a dead end path. Okay, this is really the life partner that is ready to, bring a support to the people surrounding him, but also support his partner. Okay? It's someone that is never going to be able to be happy if he knows that someone around him is unhappy or in difficulty. Okay? He's really going to, be there and do everything that he can to bring the necessary change to really bring a stable life for himself, his partner, and also the one that surrounds him. So here we go for the Suit of Cups. I hope this was helpful. And we are now down to only one video to complete this tarot journey video series. So I will be back really soon with the video about the Suit of Swords. On this, you have a really nice day. And I love you guys. Take care.